a second. I'm about to say 9 words you're not going to like. I'm going to need you to write them down anyways, tuck them away, mull them over, understand what they actually mean later in the day, later in the week. Are you ready? Here they are. Do you got a pen? He is not the problem. He is the symptom. I know you're not going to like it. He is a problem, but he's not the problem. He's not the problem. He is a symptom. And until we all admit that, until we all can come to terms with what the actual problem is, the midterm elections and a new president sitting in that Oval Office is not going to change the fundamental flaw, the fundamental foundational cracks that we have in that system today. We have to admit it now. That's why he's here. He's here to shine so much light as the symptom, as the man that makes every horrific thing okay. And he says it out loud with a full chest, and he tweets about it as though he's impervious to be held to any kind of account. He's the symptom. He's highlighting to you exactly what is allowed to happen in the United States of America if the wrong person is driving that bus. That's the point. We need to focus on the problem. And the problem is deeper. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys, but the problem is the thing you hold up as being impervious, as being perfect, impenetrable. The problem is a document written in 1783. Do we think it was perfect? Do we think that any sort of group of people could have been perfect in 1783? We can't be perfect now. How could we have been perfect then? Do we really think a document that was written when 90% of the country couldn't vote, hold property, or have any of their own money, and a huge chunk of the population was enslaved, do we think that document had it all right? I know for a fact you're going to say, Joanna, what about the amendments? That's like putting really nice windows on a cracked foundation. Eventually the house will fall. And I'm telling you right now, it's falling. And it's not falling because there was horrific intent with that Constitution, or it wasn't a great document for 1783. It's going to fall because we have highlighted, we have elevated it to something what? Godlike? It is fallible. It is time we recognize the fallibility in the document and start to understand we need something else. The United States was written to be a democracy, right? In opposition to kings and nobility, but you traded an aristocracy for an oligarchy. You got rid of kings and queens and gave the crown to Elon Musk because he became a billionaire. And now you kneel at his feet. You give him and them as a collective power over everything. The way the economic system works, the way the media works, the way that politics works. You handed it on a silver platter as though they were more deserving of it. You stripped away democratic rights of the average American. What are they voting for anymore? Are they being represented in Congress? And if they're not, what kind of democracy have you held up? You have traded colonization for imperialism. You send the army only to secure economic interests and economic control over a region. Why? You have done it in order to elevate your economic standing. That's great, but all of those chickens come home to roost. When you send in your army, you get rid of democratically elected leaders. You secure and negotiate and oppress in order to pull out natural resources and money. You create a world of instability. We no longer live in a world where each country is sovereign to the negation of all other countries in the world. I don't know if we ever lived there, but as of right now, what happens over there is going to happen here. What we do in other nations will absolutely affect what goes on in our own country. So as you hold up the Constitution as this pinnacle of perfection, you then act internationally as though that is never going to interfere with your sovereignty, interfere with your civil rights, interfere with your rule of law. You don't get to go country to country to country and never be held accountable for breaking the rule of law, for breaking forms of justice, for taking advantage, oppressing, and enslaving nations. That will bleed back into your own country. At the very least, that's going to create a world nobody feels safe living in. You've traded ideals of freedom for delusions of supremacy. And when you did that, when you traded those things, you created a scarier world. You created a world in which nobody has to adhere to anything if they have enough power, if their military is big enough, if they have the sheer will to do it no matter what. You helped create that world, and your Constitution did it because your Constitution doesn't apply to anything outside of the United States. This is the moment to look inward. This is the moment, not just for a change of government, but a fundamental transformation of what is important, of a fundamental transformation of what the world looks like today and the way we need to work within it. A fundamental transformation of understanding that if we don't figure out how to work with other nations, if we don't figure out how to create bridges rather than blow up islands, we will all go down together, and we will all do it with a delusion that we were right. With a delusion that we were the only people with the right messaging, the right Constitution, the right this, the right that. We will all go down together. But you don't have to. He isn't the problem, he's the symptom. Recognize it. Embrace it. Admit it. Talk about it. Put the problem on the table. Sure, you're going to get rid of this symptom. That's a no-brainer. You will. But if you don't fix the foundation, if you don't dig up that basement and rebuild from the ground up, it will always be shaky, and it will only ever take one more person, one more individual with delusions of grandeur, with narcissistic tendencies that are going to use that power to amass more wealth, to amass more control. You don't have to do that. Get rid of the symptom. Focus on the problem. I've been watching a lot of Scandal lately. It's time to put on your white hat.